We're broadcasting an interview with the Grand Prix champion. Okay then, I'd like to ask you something. What is your function as a robot?
Destroy. Destroy.
What do you do with your free time?
Where is the enemy?
Thanks for your words of enthusiasm, champion.
I must be complete.
I'd love to ride in that kind of machine just once in my life.
Man, it's still quite hard to believe that a brand new Metroid game was just announced out of nowhere, and that its release was not too far from its reveal. But most importantly, perhaps, is the fact that it's the highly speculated Metroid Dread that is finally continuing the legacy of the franchise. And it's not hard to see the many reasons as to why fans of the series are so excited for this title. For one, it's the first 2D Metroid game released for home consoles since Super Metroid back in 1994. But it's also the first time the series gets the time to shine with a new look and proper HD visuals to complement its art style, and most importantly is that the once cancelled Project Dread has finally become a reality after so many years. Metroid Dread was in fact a game that longtime producer and director of the series, Yoshio Sakamoto, wanted to make back for the original Nintendo DS. But due to some technical limitations, the game was stuck in development hell and was quietly cancelled in order to avoid releasing a lackluster title. But fortunately, thanks to some modern tools and with the help from the development team at Mercury Steam, this once discarded entry finally gets the time to shine in the spotlight that it so deserves. Another reason to why Dread is such a big thing is that it's also titled Metroid 5. Meaning that this is the first 2D game in the past almost 20 years that isn't just another remake, but in fact a brand new adventure that is also continuing the story after Metroid Fusion, bringing with it some new life into the series with enemies, power-ups, and a storyline that will finally shed some light into one of the series' biggest mysteries. Back in 2017, Samus Returns gave us a hint to an interesting story regarding the mystical Chozo that left us with many questions. And from the looks of Dread's trailers and developer reports, we might be finally getting the answers we were looking for, which may perhaps even shed some new light on these ancient beings. This is probably what personally has me the most excited. As a longtime fan of the series, I just can't wait to see the Chozos finally make their big debut. For the past 35 years, this mysterious race of bird-like people have been in the background for almost every story, and their actions have echoed throughout the series, yet we never quite got a glimpse of them in action. They were the ones who created the Metroids in Mother Brain, the ones who discovered the X-Parasites, the ones who encountered the Leviathan Seeds in Talon 4, the ones who shared their knowledge with other species across the stars, and the ones who rescued Samus and gifted her with their most powerful technology. So to finally see them take the spotlight is extremely exciting, to put it lightly. If anything, I guess waiting out on making this game ended up becoming a good thing in the long run, because now, thanks to the Metroid Prime series, the Chozos are more in the forefront of players' minds compared to what little they saw from the 2D games. So their role will be more significant this way, and I'm happy to see some elements of world building from those games coming into place with this title. On top of this, we also have the new nemesis in the form of the relentless Emmys, robots who are bent with searching and capturing Samus at any costs. While they aren't the first stalker enemies in the series, I think these guys will go one step above the SAX with just how their AI seems to be improved with different stages of alertness and more tools to avoid them. But I am more impressed by how their models and designs will allow them to move in all sorts of ways in order to keep up with you while not looking like a broken mess. That in my opinion is a true marvel in of itself. But the other interesting thing about the Emmys is that they themselves are something rather unique to this series in general. It's an enemy that's not of space pirate design, but instead a hunting robot created by the Galactic Federation that have gone rogue on planet ZDR for reasons I won't get into in this video. But the simple design makes for an ominous silhouette, and the practical model that can fluidly move in crazy ways will probably enhance the gameplay feeling overall. It also helps that the trailers and gameplay are really selling an atmosphere that perfectly encapsulates the game's titles, since everything's building up to create an air of uncertainty and fear that is really tying everything together quite nicely. From the distorted music, dark lighting, the history of the planet, and menacing enemies that have the upper hand on Samus from the start, really help sell the ambience alongside the gameplay. And to me, it's very mystical to see how this leitmotif was more or less introduced all the way back in Samus Returns with its secret 11th Chozo memory. So it goes to show how long the team has been planting the seeds for this project all along. It's even crazier when you consider that Samus Returns was originally pitched to be a Fusion remake. So it makes you think, how far back was the team planning on making Dread an actual thing? It also helps that the gameplay itself looks like it's going to the next level, from the variety of cool new power-ups to help you avoid the enemies, simple movement options to keep the tension going, and new combat techniques to help you get the upper hand against enemies, which makes this look like one of the most fluid games in the genre. It's clear that the team behind this game have made some strides in creating a new art style for Samus and other enemies that can pay tribute to the roots of the series, while still coming up with something new that can help attract more players, which they can also use to their benefit when creating future titles. It's quite refreshing to see a new coat of paint on the franchise that will hopefully help it achieve a new identity for some time, just like how the Prime series managed to do before it. If you've been on the fence about trying out the series, then I can't think of a better time to start than now, as Dread is here to bring a much needed spark to a franchise that has been on somewhat of a hiatus as of late. And I'm sure that any newcomer will be more than capable of fully enjoying this revival as much as any veteran who has been waiting to see the next chapter of this iconic series.